it's been around, but I'm back with another video. Today we'll be playing this Ward Haven list that went sort of popular a little while ago because apparently someone has been having success with it at high beyond rank. So yeah, I just copied the list and we're playing it for today. I did test Ward Haven earlier in the expansion, like in the early half, but didn't really have too much success with it and couldn't really get what I felt like was a good video out of it, so I didn't really end up making the video. But apparently this deck is good, so I tried it out. It's not too bad, pretty decent stuff going on the ladder. So yeah, today I'm playing it. This is not mine, as I mentioned before. It's the list by someone else. I will link the original tweet in the description in case you want to check that person out and see what else they've been cooking or will be cooking in the future. Yeah, in terms of Ward Haven, it's pretty straightforward stuff. It runs the Marwyn package as well, just for some I guess little bit more output to go off of. And then I guess the main new card here is Sophina here, who is very obviously Ward Haven support. Use it to evolve itself, pretty strong. You get the AoE -1/-1 effect, or you can evolve a light follower to hit face. Usually those are the main use cases. Other than that, it's all cards that I've been used to. It's a very expensive deck, but I mean, it's not too bad. I do have like a partial like preference for Ward Haven just as a person who likes playing board-based decks. So yeah, we'll look at the games I have for you today and then we'll, I guess, review the deck afterwards. So our first match here is against Forest. Thanks to Arya's buff, I think Tempo and other Tempo variants are a bit popular. I don't know if it's already fallen off yet, but you know, who knows. Anyway, this deck has a good matchup against Tempo Forest, so that's pretty good. I assume that Tempo Forest, so I want to keep early game like Knight of the Order to not take too much damage, but other than that, we look for Wilbert, Marwyn, and Grimnir. It has a lot of Crest you want to set up, so depending on matchup, certain Crests are not as important as the others. Against Tempo Forest, I think having Grimnir's Crest is the most important. Marwyn's is not that important in this matchup, and then Wilbert is nice to have, but not entirely necessary in this matchup because I think he just set up some decent wards. You should be fine, regardless of whether Wilbert is active or not. In the early game, we just want to protect our face here. My opponent uses an early Alpheimer to just chip damage to my face, which is not ideal. Arguably, you just coin Sophina here and it would have been better, but I went to play Grimnir. I tried to greed in case I want to coin Wilbert on turn 5, so I went for Wilbert there. Again, Sophina might have been better, but I'm not entirely sure. Pick up Marwyn here. Unfortunately, we don't want to play Marwyn because if we go for Marwyn here, we leave 4 damage on board and they can evolve it and we take a bit too much damage there. So we want to cut as much damage to our face going as possible. So go ahead and use Sophina here. Also allows us to save up a Euro point, which is quite nice. So now we'll use Fangry Twinkle Toes to buff their board here. We take a bunch of damage here. They do evolve the Fairy Fencer as well. This is not great for us. We just take a nice, oh not nice, 5 damage to the face. We don't go Wilbert here because the threat of what's her face? The threat of Titania is real, so we want to minimize as damage coming to our face as much as possible right now. Again, as I said earlier, Wilbert isn't entirely necessarily in this matchup, so we prioritize reducing damage coming to our face. Until my opponent plays Arya, but we don't know if they had Titania in hand or not, so who's to say if that was the right play? As you can see, we are very low at 6 health, which is not great for us. We don't go Wilbert here because we die to Odin. I think a decent amount of Tempo decks are probably playing Odin right now, so we don't want that to happen. We go ahead and go for the Aether. I think Super Evolved Gilnelis might actually have been better there, but evolving Aether prevents them from targeting my followers. I'm not sure if Tempo is actually running anything that targets besides maybe Odin, so yeah, probably would have been fine to just Super Evolve Gilnelis and heal there, but I guess I tunneled in a bit of the value of Aether's Super Evolve. Oh, there's also me, I guess. Here we managed to get our opponent to spit out a ton of resources to not even fully clear our board, which is quite good. And now we are free to drop Wilbert. We can drop Wilbert here because we're not scared of Odin anymore because we have 2 wards and Wilbert can't kill through 2 wards. I mean, Odin can't kill through 2 wards, so we are fine there. There is the Odin who will go ahead and banish our Wilbert, which is fine. Oh, it's not like ideal, I guess. Go ahead and play Wilbert here. Again, we are going to die to Odin, so we go ahead and evolve this Gilnalis to heal up, to try and heal out of Odin range. If they have Odin plus 2 fairies, I die, but I don't think they've generated enough fairies for that to happen. Although they did have a second Odin to banish another Wilbert, which is not great for me. They go ahead and buff here, so we manage to survive on 1, which is good. Get a Xenophon out to start healing, and then we can just kill them with the Xenophon in hand, I guess. So that's it for this game. Our next match here is against Rune. Against Rune, I just hard search for my Crest generators because I think their early game is quite slow. Although, arguably, if I'm going up against third Rune, I might have wanted to kill a Salefa, but I ended up top decking Salefa anyway, so I guess it's fine. There is the Witch's New Brew. We don't know if this is going to be spell boost or pure dirt though, so can't make quite a decision there for yet. We managed to drop Grimnir, which is nice. We opened 2 Sandalphons, which is not very good because they're just dead cards in our hand right now, so it's a bit concerning. My opponent does coin the Perfumer out, which is quite annoying because we don't have a guaranteed way to clear it. But we just do our best with Grand Jita. Thankfully, we did hit. If we missed it, they could evolve the Perfumer to clear Grand Jita while going face, which would have been quite bad for us. But thankfully, we did hit the 50-50 there, and now that they're out of a coin, they can't do something stupid like coin Norman to annoy us with, so that's good for us. I'm going to use Salefa here to heal up as well as clear their board to survive, I guess. We are advancing these Sandalphon's Super Skybound arts, but against Dirt it's kind of hard to get Super Skybound art on them, so I need to get Sandalphon's Super Skybound art to hit them in the face, so I didn't really want to be advancing stuff like Vira's Super Skybound art instead, so thankfully we do manage to top deck it here and evolve our Wilbert and start advancing their Super Skybound art that way. One drops the Penelope here and they will super evolve here to draw into their deck as well as get more dirt, which is good for them, I suppose. They have an Edelweiss here to clear my board as well, which is not great for me. And they drop the Melvi as well to generate even more dirt. Annoying. Against Dirt, you have a good matchup if you draw I mean, you have a solid matchup at least if you manage to draw what's his face? Marwyn. Unfortunately, I didn't manage to pick up Marwyn quite yet, so we're not quite there. Go ahead and super evolve Gilnalis to clear the board while healing up. I'm pretty sure buffing Gilnalis here is actually a misplay because I don't need the extra healing anyway, so keeping her as a 2-5 would have been maybe better. I'm not entirely sure on that front actually. But now we'll go ahead and go for the Lantern Super Evolve here, which is annoying, but we do manage to top deck Marwyn here, which is very lucky, so we can go ahead and use that to carry up the Lantern. Rune, currently the only deck I think who has the ability to answer, the ability to just banish the Lantern like this, so, I mean, not Rune, Haven, so that's pretty nice. You don't really see Dirt that much on ladder right now though, so that's not that relevant in this meta, I suppose, but you know, the interaction's there. But then we'll go ahead and drop their, what's this card called again? Mirel and Reset. Annoying. Unfortunately, we don't have evil points, and we definitely don't want to be wasting Vera on a board like this, so we just go ahead and drop Wilbur and stall. Unless they're running Valaria, the 2-cost legendary, which I don't really see a reason to be running Valaria in the current meta right now, so I don't think people are running too many copies of it. They don't really have to go with that. Get through Wilbert is the point I'm trying to make here. So again, we just drop Wilbert here and just pass. We don't really, these are very valuable resources in our hand right now, and we currently don't see any card draw, so we definitely want to make sure that we can answer the real threats once they come out instead of these like sort of puny followers. Go ahead and use Sage Light to clear my stuff. And they will use Ars Magna to hit me in the face as well, I guess. And then they just leave these knights on board for us, which is interesting. Go ahead and use Marwyn to banish this Guardian Golem so I can... Oh, well, I didn't do that actually. I go ahead and play Marwyn to pick up the spell. Then you can go ahead and drop Sandalphon to clear board. It's Sandalphon's a bit of a waste here, but like... Realistically, this is as close I'm getting to a value out of Sandalphon. So I think it's probably fine. They can heal a bunch though, so that's not ideal for me. It's not Norman who will go ahead and heal them back up to full, which is annoying, but it's not the end of the world, I guess. Go ahead and just drop some Select fast. We could have went Sandalphon here, but I think they'll just heal back up again anyway, so we pull off on the Sandalphon there. Especially if we need Sandalphon to clear board, which might happen because as you can see our hands isn't very good for clearing board right now. Go ahead and play Select fast to heal and just set up a decently large board. My opponent drops Sandalphon to clear, which is fine for me. I'm gonna use John to clear this board as well as buff the Knight of the Holy Order. We get some healing out of it as well, which is just a nice bonus. And we just have Marwyn's Crest chipping them down. At this point, either we win off Marwyn's Crest solely chipping them down while we answer their board, or we deck them out. I don't think they're... It doesn't seem like they're running Ryo. Maybe they just haven't drawn and I gotten lucky, but I don't think they have Ryo, so maybe that's good for me. They didn't invoke Sandalphon either, so I'm pretty sure their Sandalphons are all in their hand. But now that they're out of evil points, we go ahead and drop Sandalphon here to chip them down as well as hide the pawn behind a ward to hopefully hit them in the face. If they're Norman, they will go ahead and summon a golem apparently, and not heal. And then they use Decklist to clear the Knight of the Holy Order. A bit of an ordering misplay here that let me heal one extra, but it doesn't really matter because in the end they can't clear Sandalphon here, so we do end up having lethal. So yeah, that's it for this game. Our last match here is against Haven. Keep the Crest generators, and we want Serene Sanctuary definitely to draw. I guess I haven't mentioned, but Serene Sanctuary is like always a keep. At least one copy. Multiple if you are playing against a slow matchup. But well, they might be playing on Haven, which is a faster matchup, so we definitely want to keep some early game in case that happens. My opponent goes in Coin Grimnir here, doesn't really tell us anything. I think both Kukishiro and any ward decks, basically any Haven deck right now probably runs Grimnir, so this really isn't giving us much information. Go ahead and draw a Grimnir of our own. My opponent goes with the Supplicant, so this probably means they are playing some kind of Crest deck, probably with ward Haven cards mixed in. Go ahead and use Grand Gita to try to answer that board because we don't want to let the Marwyn get set up too freely. Unfortunately, they do have Marwyn here, so they will go ahead and evolve Marwyn and banish. I mean, we do lose our board here, which is not great. I could have avoided it by not trading Grimnir, but I think trading Grimnir to guarantee that we clear the Grimnir here is probably a bit safer. Even though we do leave this Marwyn alive. It looks like they can just banish Marwyn with their spell, but actually the spell is quite valuable in this matchup, so I don't think you can waste it here. So you can see my opponent is forced to trade here, which is quite good, so we don't take the 6 damage face even though we left Marwyn alive. And we drop Wilbert here. We do know that Wilbert is getting banished here, 1000% chance with Torrent of Despair. But it prevents them from playing their Wilbert on this turn, which is like pretty decent, I guess. And it just makes this a bit of a weak turn for them. Plus, we do want to get the Crest active. Like, we can't really like play without the Crest, so you know, that's probably fine. We go ahead and play a Torrent here. We can afford to do that because we have Vera. Arguably, I should have saved the Torrent anyway because Vera is a very important resource in this game, and wasting my heart removals like this is, well, depending on perspective, it's a bit of a questionable decision, but here we are, I guess. Go ahead and play Vera here to banish the Wilbert as we were expecting to do the moment we spent our Torrent there. We'll just chip them for a bit of damage phase. My opponent will go ahead and draw a Vera of their own. This is why there is arguably a reason to keep the Torrent of Despair so that we can answer Vera cleanly. Unfortunately, we can't quite do that with this hand. So we go ahead and go for Gilnalis here. And a second Gilnalis as well. And then with Super Evolve and Grimnir's Crest, we just barely managed to finish off this Vera. Unfortunately, spending our Gilnalis here is a bit questionable because healing and damage are both important in this matchup, and Gilnalise has both, so yeah. Opponent takes the opportunity to drop their Aether, which is fine. You can see this board happens to match really well into Aether because of the fact that my followers all survive Grimnir's Crest. Let me go ahead and drop the Jan here. We have 3 Jans in hand for some reason, so I might as well use them. Go ahead and trade here, and then just clear that board. And we still have this massive Gilnalise behind a ward, which is quite good for us. So then we'll drop a Jan of their own, and with combination of Marwyn's Crest, they will full clear my board, which is not great, but now it's my turn to drop the Aether. And they are super evil points, so this Aether should be quite annoying for them unless they have a second Jan, but we did just see them drop one, so hopefully they don't have multiple. And even if they do, a decent amount of our board still lives a second Jan, so that we're fine there, I guess. My opponent's best solution is to try and stall me out with Aether. And they have the Prescient Priestess as well. And they will pass. Thankfully this is not a board lock because their followers are big enough that we can trade, so we just draw another Jan here and my opponent just concedes. I don't have lethal this turn, but I think my opponent just can't answer this board with how big it is. So those are all the games I have for you today. If you're wondering where the Portal matchup is, Destruction Portal is so miserable to play in the matchup that I don't really have a good game to show you, I guess. Yeah. So yeah, also give you some idea of how this deck works. It's like a bit of a slow-oriented deck where you slowly push them onto board with value from like Wilbert and Aether and stuff. And if your opponent manages to clear that, you sort of have to play on the defensive, I guess. I don't know. I'm definitely not good enough to explain this deck list compared to the person who made it and climbed to be on with it, so yeah, it's just me playing with it and trying it out, I guess. Personally, I'm not that much of a fan of how Warhaven feels right now. It's like very like certain card specific, like you really want to draw Grimnir early, you really want to draw Wilbert, you really want to draw Marwyn, you really want to draw Aether early. And then if your opponent still answers the board, you don't have that many good damage options. Centerpoint is solid for damage, of course, and so is Gilnalise, but other than that, there's not that much. So I guess you have Marwyn, but like, this deck's ability to abuse Marwyn isn't as strong as pure Crest Haven, so there's that. So yeah, overall pretty interesting deck. If you have the cards, you can try it out. I wouldn't... Well, it's hard to recommend crafting it when it's so expensive and not that strong. Technically, I think I hit my highest MP rating, or my highest class rating this expansion with this deck, so I can't really say much. It's mostly because I haven't been playing that hardcore, I guess. So yeah, anyway, that's it for today. See you next time. Bye bye.